The man with a headband, that is Emmett Killock, and he picked up that injury last Saturday in a marathon epic battle in the semi-finals of this competition against Creggan. So he got a few stitches after a cut above the eye, I believe, but he is here tonight, and that's his commitment to playing in this game. And why not? Because it's All Saints Ballymena's first ever final of this kind, the Football League Division 1 final in Antrim. You also saw in the bottom of the shot there their legendary manager Liam Baker Bradley, who managed Antrim, of course, when they got to the Ulster Senior Final 2009. Their only appearance since 1971 to the current day. So he was the manager there, and there he is in the shot there. And Liam Baker Bradley, I'll tell you, I have a little bit of a tidbit about him. He was fullback on the St Pat's Maghera team that won the McCrory Cup for the very first time. You think the amount of times that Maghera have won the McCrory Cup, the very first time they won it, 1977, he was the fullback. And the manager, of course, the other legendary man, of course. And you see Adrian McGuckin, that is. I'm just seeing Liam in there with Colm MacDonald. And Colm is out in the middle today. And yet last weekend, of course, he was very much in the middle in Croke Park. And we congratulate him on his achievement of being part of that wonderful occasion. But he's here tonight at Dunsilly for the 2025 Antrim Division 1 League Final. Kickhams Creggan against the All Saints Ballymena. Big team news is Connor McCann is not here tonight for Kickhams Creggan at all. He got a goal last week for them, or their previous game actually, against Aldergrove, one of their key players, but he's not here tonight. I know they have a lot of hurling commitments as well. That is the Kickhams Creggan group out there. In fact, I'll just give you the team while we are looking at them here. And also mention that we're on YouTube, and Ryan McKay has already mentioned there, come on the Kickhams, and he gives us a green heart and a yellow heart for their team. So their team, let's look at it. Oisin Kerr in goals. 2, their captain tonight, Ricky Johnston. 3, Sam Maguire. 4, Fintan Close. 5, Liam McLernan. 6, Ethan Kerry Small. 7, Jamie McCann. 8, Keelan McCann. 9, Paddy McCauley. 10 is Sean Duffin. 11, Connor Small. 12, Rory McCann, he's a brother of Keelan. 13, Shay McCann, he's a brother of Jamie, who I mentioned at number 7. 14 is Matthew Rogers, and 15 is CJ Connor Johnston, but as I say, no Connor McCann. And their subs tonight, I'll rattle through them. 16, Peter Graham, and the nice link there with Peter is that he was the goalkeeper in 2009 when Liam Baker Bradley was the manager of Antrim. Sean McGreevy got injured in Ballybuffet early on in the championship in the famous win down in Donegal. Peter Graham came in from nowhere really and had a wonder year there, and it's funny now that he is number 16. He is with Kickhams Creggan tonight, and Baker is in the other side. 17, Joe McAteer. 18, Liam Quinn. 19, Anton Martin. 20, Jeremy Mulholland. 21, Jake McAteer. 22, Owen McCreed, and 23, Tristan McCann. So that is the Kickhams Creggan team for this big game tonight. They will go in as favourites. Their manager, you saw in the shots there, Joe Cassidy. So 2 Derry men in charge of the respective teams tonight. The referee is Colin Thompson, who was also the referee when these teams met in the league earlier this year. There is Ballymena over to our left in the familiar black for their club, of course. I'll go through their team. What do we look at like in the clock? We're about 3 or 4 minutes to the start, and the sun is doing its best to come out, thankfully, as the captains go over to the middle. Actually, I'll keep an eye on that for you as well. Ricky Johnson, as I say, captain, and tonight I'm not sure who the Ballymena captain is, but he'll be going over to the middle. We'll keep an eye on that. There's number 5, it's Joe Rafferty, I think. Joe, who got a goal over to the middle. Actually, I'll keep an eye on that for you as well. Ricky Johnson, as I say, captain, and tonight I'm not sure who the Ballymena captain at 24. So he's got, I don't think there's any breeze to talk about. Well, there is a bit of breeze, but it's sort of coming across this way. I wouldn't think it would be too strong, but I could be wrong. Actually, just as I say that, it picks up as if to defy me. So maybe there is a bit of a breeze. I'm not quite sure to just tell you what way it's going. Maybe from left to right, I think. Swirls around a little bit here in Dunsilly. Anyway, that All Saints Ballymena team. In goals, Ryan Stewart, who'd be a brother of Connor at midfield. 2, Matthew Downey. 3, James McDonnell. 4, Oliver O'Raw. 5 is Joe Rafferty, who down as captain, but 6 is the captain, Sean O'Callaghan. 7, Harry Connon. 8, Connor Stewart. 9, Emmett Killock. 10, Connell Lemon. 11, Paddy McAleer. 12, Brendan Benny McDonnell, who scored the penalty to beat Creggan in that penalty shootout last Saturday. 13 is Peter McReynolds, who goes back to the 2011 Intermediate Championship team when he was a teenager. He's still around. 14, Sean McVeigh, another veteran, and 15, Kieran Campbell, who also got a goal against Creggan last Saturday. There were a lot of goals in that game. In fact, I think it was 5-14 to 2-23, and then went to penalties. That was All Saints Ballymena beating Creggan on penalties just 5 days ago. I wonder excuse me, what toll that will take on the teams tonight. The Baker is in there in the middle and having a last word with the players, and it is a big occasion for them tonight. You might say, well, it's only a league final and they've actually finished 4th in the league and so on, but it's a big deal for All Saints. They've never been in this before, and it's their 50th anniversary this year, 1975 to 2025, so they'd love to win this tonight. And there's a bit of history of those sort of things happening in the last few years. 2 years ago, Portland Known won it, their first ever time, and then last year St Bridget's won it and they beat Creggan. So, you know, maybe that will tell tonight the hungrier team who have never done it before, whereas Creggan have won this one before. I'm pretty sure. I've actually looked in the records, couldn't find any, but I'm pretty sure they've won it before. And Joe Cassidy, the manager, has history with it. In 2023 he won Division 2 with Glenravel. So we're nearly ready for the start of the game. I'm keeping an eye on the messages coming in on the live chat. Emmett Michael Wayne has just messaged, come on the Saints. He says he's in Orlando. Are you really? Fair play. Big audience there online for this. So we're making this game available tonight, free to view for you, and it's sort of marking the start of our live stream coverage for 2025, and we do love live streaming the Antrim Games Championship just around the corner, of course, in the hurling and the football. Can't wait to get going with that. In fact, these two teams are going to meet on August the 1st, only 10 days from now, so they're going to meet in a crucial game in what they call the group of death there. They're in with Lavjarag and St Gall's in the senior championship, so that is not far away at all. We'll pause now for the anthem. All set then for the 2025 Antrim Division 1 League Final. Most of the teams had 15 games. Ballymena didn't, they just the 14, but a lot of games since March. And in fact, these teams met on the 23rd of March. They had one meeting in the league, it's one round of games, and the result was Creggan 2-23. All Saints Ballymena 1-9. So a big win for Creggan, and I think they did the same last year against Ballymena. So they have that over Ballymena going into this. Looks like Sean McVeigh has gone to the middle of the field, and indeed he has. Wonder will that be maybe just for the hop at the start of the game. And Emmett Killock there as well. Not sure if he's heading into the middle or not. He seemed to be heading away, but heading back into it now. Number 12 going that way as well for All Saints, who are playing from left to right, but he's just heading to his position. Not sure if he's heading into the middle or not. He seemed to be heading away, but heading back into it now. Number 12 going that way as is the number 7 Jamie McCann coming in, and off he goes, looking to get the first score. Well, he's going to leave it off instead to Connor Small. Ball coming out to CJ. Emmett Killock easily recognisable there. That's Sean Duffin with his shot, and that looks good from here, and indeed it is good. First point, and it took 23 seconds. Let's look at the kick out. Ryan Stewart looks low for Benny O'Donnell. Finds him, but he's under serious pressure and gets his free. Falls in a heap over by the dugout. Good crowd at the game here. Along this side, which you're not seeing so much, but more over that far side on the bank for a Wednesday night in July. trophy, of course, at stake, and you can't discount that. Everybody likes to win a trophy, and that was pumped long, and it was brave from Ricky Johnston there, and he was maybe too brave. He took a knock there as he went for that one, and there's a bit of concern around that, because one of those ones where he just collided into the guy in front of him. He seemed to win the ball over the smaller player. I think it was Kieran Campbell, but maybe he just landed badly. So just to remind you, the game is live on YouTube, and we will welcome your messages as they come in on that, so feel free to leave a little message there if you want to say anything throughout the game, or just let us know what you're thinking or where you're watching the game from. We'll be happy to hear from you. So the game being made available there free of charge, showcasing this league final here tonight in Dunsilly. So in the league, after those round of games, Creggan actually finished top, 15 games and 28 points, only one defeat, and that was to St Bridget's at Creggan, just a one defeat. Second was Creggan. They played 15 games of 24 points, same as St Bridget's, 15 games and 24 points, so the two of them were second and third level. Fourth was All Saints, had 22 points, so 6 points back from the leaders, but they only played 14 games. And it's the team in second and fourth who have ended up in the final. St Bridget's actually withdrew from their semi-final, leaving their opponents Creggan to go straight into the final. Actually, I'll give you the Kickhams Creggan team and the subs. I'm going to give you All Saints team but not their subs, so we'll go through them now. 16 Conor Brennan, 17 Cal O'Brien, 18 Charlie Metrustry. I always have trouble with that one. 19 Conan McKeown, 20 Derek Bradley, 21 Michael McCarry, 22 Pogene Mitchell, 23 Peter McNichol, 24 Ronan McKillop, 25 Rory McVeigh, 26 Ryan Tom, and 27 Sean McDermott. And of those subs, a few of them got game time last week against Creggan. Obviously it went to extra time. A few of them came on for the start of extra time, like Mitchell, he came on, and Michael McCarry, former Antrim, came on, and Ronan McKillop came on for extra time, and Conor Brennan was used as well. And that, as I say, was played last Saturday. No Cavan Keenan, of course, tonight for All Saints, because he was shown a red card in that game. But a lot has to be said about the spirits of the All Saints lads, because they were apparently looked like they were dead and buried a few times in that game against Kickhams, against Creggan rather, because they kept whacking in the goals, and then they led at the end, but Michael McCann scored a penalty right at the end to go to extra time. But they came back all the time. Ballymena showed great heart and great spirit, and remember, it's only a few years ago since they were down intermediate in Division 2, and this now is the second year in a row they have reached the top four. So good work by Liam Baker Bradley with Hondo Mullen and Jared O'Callaghan. And sadly, that was Ricky Johnson going to the side, and after only a minute off the game, so it's a blow for Kickhams Creggan, already without Conor McCann tonight, and Ricky, of course, their captain tonight and one of their stalwarts, so we're all sorry to see him go off. We hope he's okay. We get the ball now to Paddy McCauley, and unless they've mixed up those midfielders, actually 8 and 9, I think, mixed up those jerseys. I'm trying to figure out which ones they are, but we go on with the play. It's a good block down by the captain tonight, O'Callaghan. Ballymena All Saints with Joe Rafferty trying to clear the lines, but the hand comes in. I think that was Sean Duffin who got a hand in. But yeah, that injury has taken a bit of a fizz out of the atmosphere here. It's gone a little bit quiet, as you would understand. Concern for Ricky, but at least they got him up and over to the dugout there, so hopefully he'll be okay. But a blow at the start of the game, no doubt. So a free right in front of the posts for Creggan, and it's Connor Small who scored 2 points, a two-pointer in their last league game against Aldergrove. They had a big win that day, 422 to 12 points. And in fact, 3 of their goals were scored by Shay McCann, all in the second half. Very good finishes. And you know what, as I step from behind my cover here, in towards the pitch. I feel the breeze really strong in favour of All Saints Ballymena, so they are playing with that breeze, and off they go now with O'Callaghan storming forward, and that would intercept it. It was a good hand in by Jamie McCann to get it back, and already this game has gone up and down the pitch. It's one team attacks and then the other's. Good feel about it, but just as CJ went off on a run there, I think he was resigned to the fact he knew that the referee would hold it up, because Conal Lemon is on the ground and he seems to be in a lot of pain. So 2 injuries in the first 5-6 minutes of this game. We haven't really been able to get going at all. Hopefully he'll be okay to continue. Trying to pick up who came on for Ricky Johnston. Actually, number 18 is in there from the Kickhams, and that is Liam Quinn. So he certainly wouldn't have expected to get a game so early, but Liam Quinn is in for them. This is Matthew Rogers on that right foot. He turned his man rather nicely there and put it over well as well. 2 points, 3 points now, of course, for the men in green. 3-0, despite playing against that breeze I was talking about. Now it does sort of come and go. It seems to be gone at the minute. Keeper wouldn't mind it to get extra length on it, but he does put it high around the middle. The big men go up for it. It was Connor Stewart, of course, who went for it. And in the end, that was Rory McCann getting a boot to it, but it's Conal Lemon who has recovered, and he drills it in there looking for Kieran Campbell, and it finds him really well. And you see now the marker on him is Ethan Carey Small. It was Ricky Johnson, but he's had to go off, and that's a dangerous looking one. If they can get in here, and they can get in here, I'd say that could well be a penalty, you know. But the referee, he did put his whistle to his mouth and then changed his mind. And the number 11, Paddy McAleer, is still on his knees up there going like, where's my penalty? But he's not getting one. Now this is the man who came on, the sub I told you about, Quinn for Kickhams Creggan, and he keeps going, and he's still going, and he's looking to get a score here maybe at the end of this run. No, he's going to have to get a bit of help, and now he gets a free, and it's a free in for Creggan. And it really is an open game so far, a bit unlike last year's final that I remember. There was no score for a long time in the game early on, but this one seems very open. Not quite a championship feel, shall we say, but might lend itself to an entertaining game. Nobody in any particular rush. As I say, those injuries may be slowing the atmosphere down a little bit, but Jamie McCann is making his way forward to take this. So Jamie, a brother of Shea at number 13, who got those 3 goals in the last game against Aldergrove, all good finishes, so he's one to watch tonight, the number 13 for Kickhams Creggan. And this is the brother Jamie, left footed of course from that side for the 4th point, and he took his time, and he was right to, and makes it 4-0. Early doors, good start for Kickhams Creggan despite that injury to Ricky Johnston. Now the kick had went over this side the last time, so he goes the other way, batted down, and it's batted down for Creggan, and this is Shea McCann, I think, trying to see those numbers way over on that far side. I think that's 13, 15 is running towards him, that's CJ, and they're going to work the ball out, so they're getting a grip on the kickouts, certainly Kickhams Creggan, and keeping the pressure on. This is Small. He's going to go for that himself from there. And it's a decent enough effort, is it? No, it's going to bobble wide. And that was from Liam Quinn, the sub, number 18. So 4-0 and another kick out. They need to start winning these kick outs. We're nearly at the 10-minute mark, and they haven't scored yet all since. An early run by Conal Lemon, but a little bit too early. But the ball still is going to come to this side. And he's going to hope Connor Stewart gets up and gets it. Well, Connor Stewart went up for it, and he's annoyed with himself he didn't get it. Now he's not wearing gloves, and the sun has been in and out, and it's out at the minute. And it almost looks like it's going to rain, but it hasn't been. So one of those nights, do you wear gloves or not? But he definitely didn't get a good grip on that ball there. It evaded his grasp. Maybe he'd be better with the gloves there. He certainly was up for it, uncontested, and would usually win that sort of ball, but they just haven't settled yet all since. Good run off the shoulder there from CJ Connor Johnston, and a good drive in as well, but just underneath the post and easily clawed down by the goalkeeper Ryan Stewart. All Saints get it to Matthew Downey, under a little bit of pressure. They're trying to move it through the hands to get up the pitch here at speed, and that's well worked to O'Callaghan, and the referee gives really good advantage because now James McDonald is storming right through the middle and might take his own score. No, he feeds it off instead to Campbell, but brilliantly blocked down there. That was super play. Well, you talk to me about commitment and who wants to win this. That was real will to win as we look at it again here. As I say, he could have taken his own score, and that was smashing block there. Was it actually CJ got back there? Was it Connor Johnston? I think it was. As I say, a wee bit tricky seeing the numbers from a distance, those white numbers across the yellow band and the backs. And with my eyesight as well, was at the opticians this morning. And the goalkeeper's coming up. It's Ryan Stewart. Try and get All Saints' first score of the game. I'm going quiet to see if there's any noise from the crowd, and there really isn't. Might be now. No, he's drilled that, but over to the left towards Killock and didn't get there. And he's racing back to his goals now. Not that Kickhams Creggan are trying to get it in over his head, but they are going to build, and they have got a grip in this game so far. They've started extremely well. They are, as I say, the favourites. And without any great fuss, they've been tagging on the points, and that's a decent effort. In fact, it's a super effort from Sean Duffin. They were almost casual coming up the field, not a hand laid on them all the way up from the time they won the ball down at that end, and had no problem at all there putting it over the bar. And All Saints certainly lacking what you would call championship intensity so far. Need to win a ball or two and get a score. Connor Stewart is making all sorts of runs, and he made that run over to this side, but Rory McCann saw that one and the ball dropped to him, and Connor Johnson's been very lively so far. Nice little dummy solo to give himself a better position, and as he got it, very unlucky to come off the post unless there's somebody there to pick it up, and there is. In fact, it's Shay McCann. Hat-trick against Aldergrove, and in the end it's Matthew Rogers trying to finish it, and he's put it wide from there at a very close angle, but the threat there again, and that should have been another score for Kickhams Creggan. And again, not really much pressure on the players on the ball, and CJ more or less allowed to do what he wants there. He was allowed to go from one side right over to the middle, and All Saints really have not switched on here at all. I said at the start that they might be very motivated to try and win this for the very first time, but hasn't seemed that way. Going forward might be different. Maybe the game will change. This is Lemon now going forward. He certainly has recovered from injury. That's a tricky one. Thought it might even drop over to the far corner, but it is at least a first score for All Saints Ballymena. It's taken 13 and a half minutes, but they are on the board, and it was a good break. And after the first 13 or so minutes when they couldn't get a score, that seemed rather straightforward. Actually, that block a few minutes ago that I was putting down to 15, it was 5. So I did see a 5. I thought it was a 15, but it was 5. So it was Liam McLernan, to give him the proper credit for that block. I'm sure CJ was delighted that he was getting the credit, and for being up at the other end trying to score a point as well. But it wasn't. It was McLernan, number 5. This is Rogers for Kickhams Creggan. Again, gives it to Duffin, to Paddy McCauley. This is Liam Quinn. He came on for Ricky Johnston at the back, but he's up in the forwards. Johnston loves to add a little bit of pace there to the attack. This is Rogers again. So Creggan just holding the ball up as they want, or when they want, and looking to just stroll through for another score. That's McReynolds trying to keep them out. Maybe the game just hasn't caught light yet. Jamie McCann gives it back to Rory McCann. And of course they are meeting again in 10 days time in the championship, so this a rehearsal for them, although there are key players who will be back for that, the likes of Conor McCann for Creggan and Cavan Keenan for All Saints, who's not playing tonight if you didn't hear me saying earlier. He got a red card against Creggan in the marathon semi-final last Saturday. Jamie McCann now scored a point from a free. Connor Johnson will give it back to Rory McCann. Back to Liam Quinn. And they're just owning possession at the minute. Just trying to carve out a bit of an opening a little bit near the scoring zone. But that was Harry Connon. He came out bravely and made a brilliant block. It was a bit obvious, the effort, but it certainly was a brave one to come out to the big fella and block at his feet, and he did that, but didn't manage to get the ball for the men in black. Liam Quinn, and lots of room over on this side. So they did switch the marker there. It was right number 6, Ethan Kerry-Small, went on to Kieran Campbell, and that's released Liam Quinn. He had a look there, didn't he? Thought about that effort. Thought about having a go, but instead it goes over to Sean Duffin. They've been patient, waiting to get the right man on the ball, and from that angle, have they got the right man and they got the finish? They don't. The man who thought about having a go was actually Sam Maguire, but he's now gone back to his position, and that releases Fintan Close to go up the field. Sam has gone back to mark Sean McVeigh. That's off camera over the other side, just keeping an eye on it for you. So 5 points to 1. Actually, it's up on the scoreboard as a goal. Was that a goal down at that end? Maybe it was. I thought there was a bit of a strange reaction to it, but I didn't think it had dropped into the net over the big goalkeeper, but maybe he completely misjudged it. So it's up on the scoreboard as a goal. Sorry if I didn't pick that up for you, but yeah, it seems like it was. So 1 goal for All Saints, so just the 2 points in it. Rather fortunate one, obviously. But yeah, I thought it had just dropped over the bar, and I did say maybe it was going to drop into the corner, but I didn't think it actually had done. This is McVeigh. So they haven't got a point yet, but we're quite happy with that goal. A point effort that ended up as a goal, and that was Duffin trying to maybe go for another goal, but deflected out for a 45. And here we watch it again, and yeah, it did. Yeah. I thought it was over the bar because the net there is quite close, so I thought it had just hit that net there. I do need to go back to the opticians. Goalkeeper hasn't come up to take this one. Instead, he's left it to Peter McReynolds. Can he do better? The last one didn't really get above crossbar level. That's a decent effort, but it's not going to do just to the left. It was a better effort, but drifts to the left and wide, and All Saints remain without a point after 18 minutes. But with that fortunate goal, they're well in touch in this game. McReynolds around the middle, but he leaves it to O'Callaghan, the captain. This is Connor Stewart. They have been getting through the middle a few times, and that's nicely played. It's those two linking up quite well, and he's actually passed that ball to himself. Maybe he thought there was somebody there would usually be, but instead it's been picked up for Kickhams Creggan rather easily, and the All Saints players all drifting back, which allows Fintan Close lots of room to speed into, which he does. They'll just switch position or switch sides here as they get it to Rory McCann, but it's All Saints just setting up with that defensive formation, trying to keep them out. And if you don't transition quickly enough, this is what happens. It all slows down, and one team just goes from side to side and the other just sits in. Connor Small. And then they wait to see if they can just inch into a position where you might get in the scoring zone, or a little bit of magic, and they get it to the shooters. You get it to Sean Duffin, and he put that extremely high, nearly went over the ball net, but he got the point, and that's exactly the way the modern game is played. 6 points to 3. Strange game. 6 scores to 1 score. Patrick Friedel has messaged, well, it's actually Niall Burns. He says he's watching from the Rock in Tyrone. Sure, what else would you be doing on a Wednesday? There's not much else on, is there? Is there a semi-final at the Women's European Championships? That's about all. Not much certainly online. I don't know if there's any live streams yet of club games around the entire country, but great to be here giving you this game, this league final in Antrim, live on a Wednesday night in July. With lots more to come, as I say. We'll be doing lots in the Hurling and Football Championship in the coming months. Can't wait to get started with those. Once the All-Irelands are out of the way, you'll have the group stages, and then we'll get into the knockouts, and there'll be the usual fireworks, I'm sure. Another injury around the middle. So we've had 2 or 3 big stoppages so far in this game. So although it says 20 minutes, I think we've only played about 15. So the cup tonight is named after Eddie Fitzsimmons from Laviorig, a referee and connected to a very famous family with that club up in Hannestown. It's the Eddie Fitzsimmons Memorial Trophy. I think we're okay to get going again. And we are. Oisin Kerr having to wear the orange bib tonight. Drills it over to where that injury was. Wind has really picked up strongly now. I did say it comes and goes. Well, it's certainly coming at the minute and very strong. The goalkeeper's trying to get back and was struggling to get back, but All Saints have managed to turn that over to prevent any embarrassment, and they might get up here and get a score. Peter McReynolds has given it. Stewart, he does like to go through the middle, but that one has broken down, and it was Liam Quinn, I think, who got in there with the important interception, and now Conor Small. All Saints trying to get men back, but Matthew Rogers, he looks like he's shaping up for another score, and indeed it is. It's 7. It's 7 for Kickhams Creggan, and they've taken some really nice scores, but from an All Saints point of view, I'd have to say it, they haven't put an awful lot of pressure. They're not diving on those balls. And it's 7 points to a goal, and really should be about 7 points to 1. But 7 scores to just the 1 score. That looked like a little bit of a hole there, but they get away with it. And it's Conal Lemon for All Saints. The men all in black. Stewart looking to get a bit of room, but gives it back to Lemon, and they might work through for another goal here. The keeper has to come out. He goes low, and he's got it in the net as well. It's 2 goals and no points. A very strange scoreline for All Saints Ballymena to have, but Kieran Campbell has got the goal. He got one last Saturday against Creggan. He's got another one tonight. Strange game here, but very entertaining first half. Strange scoreline. 7 points for Kickhams Creggan, 2 goals for All Saints Ballymena. Kieran Campbell, the man with the goal, and you just sensed that they were going for it, the way they were playing there when Conor Stewart played him in. And Stewart, the last time I saw All Saints Ballymena, he and Paddy McAleer were banging over points from everywhere down at the game down at Creggan last year, and Stewart not happy with that challenge there. But his team will be happy enough to be just a point behind after 23 minutes, because they haven't really played that well, and they've conceded 7 scores to 2, but they're only a point behind. This is Shea McCann. Now they'll go right over to the other side, but can Liam Quinn get a little bit closer to goal? Nope, they'll just come back over side to side. This is Rory McCann. He'll want to come in on that right foot. There's quite a few of their players like to do that, to come in from the left on the right, but he gets held up. Johnston feeds it again way over to the other side. They're just going round in like a semicircle from one side to the other, and then it's snatched away. I suppose All Saints management might be saying, well, you know what, we're going all right for a point behind. We're well in the game and we have a good goal threat, and we'll get going. And there's one that's played through low and should be over the bar, and it actually is from Finton Close, the number 4, all the way up there. Not that numbers mean an awful lot these days, but it was a nice little dink ball played into him, and they have re-established their lead at 2 points. 8 scores to 2 now. Kick out is very high and very long, and the referee had blown his whistle before the ball had even come down, and it's taken really quickly. Good advantage played, and it is Conal Lemon again. He's been free a lot, and he comes inside, and that, has he left too long? As he know he's okay? I thought he'd maybe done too much, and in the end the kick goes wide to the right, and a missed opportunity for the men in black there. I thought maybe the second dummy was over carrying, but no. But they really should have taken advantage there, and still haven't scored a point 25 minutes in. Oisin Kerr looking where to go with it. He's going back to that side. He's put most of them over to the far side from us. And on the break they win it and go forward and get it to Rory McCann. And they might get through here. They've been satisfied with points so far, but if they could get a wee goal here before half time, it would lift things. Well, Liam Quinn has put it extremely high. That's the highest one tonight. There's snow on that one coming down, but the goalkeeper is a big keeper. That's Ryan Stewart, and he comes out and just punches that one away. Right over to the corner. Oh, he's won it back. 3 men around him from All Saints, and he still wins it. Gives it over. Killock looking to get a challenge in. And it's now come back over. There's another high one. They're certainly belting the ball high over the last while. Kickhams Creggan. Trying to just manufacture a little opening here to get through. He's been allowed to run a long way. And over this side, you have Jamie McCann. He's going to try his luck. He scored one from a free, and now he's got one from play. Rather easily put over. And again, just no real urgency or intensity from All Saints to try and prevent that. He was allowed to run a long way across, and then this effort here, he was allowed to measure that one up, and it's now 9 points, and most of those points have been taken extremely well. Sean McVeigh gets a good knockdown. That's just an intelligent knockdown, and he's looking for it back, but instead they go to Kieran Campbell, who got the goal a minute ago. That ball played in, but I think it was Connor Stewart had gone in there. No, it wasn't Connor Stewart, but whoever it was it McAleer maybe? He just sort of slipped in behind, and it was Paddy, and just lost his footing a little bit. Nice ball, beautifully taken. And that's Shay McCann giving in inside to Quinn, and now it'll be Connor Small maybe with the opportunity. Lovely play, and he's going through. He might even get a goal here. He's got goal in his mind, surely. Oh, what a beautiful finish. Side foot. Well, I did say they might be looking at goal after all those lovely points. And Connor Small, well, that was absolutely beautiful. The finish here. Let's see it again. A few side steps and the run. Did he have the finish? Oh, you're absolutely right, he did. 1-9 now to 2 goals. And that's probably a fair reflection on the 27 minutes so far now. 12 plays, 6. That's Sam Maguire. And yes, I know you're all thinking, Sam Maguire, that's going to be the cup next week. Next Sunday, being played for by Donegal and Kerry and Croke Park. That's the same name as the fullback for Kickhams, Creggan. Cousin Aidan Maguire has been on the panel the last number of years, but I don't think he's there tonight actually. No. So All Saints, after being I think a bit fortunate to be in touch, now find themselves 6 down. 12 plays 6, 1-9 to 2 goals. 28 minutes gone, but I think there'll be maybe 3-4 minutes at least of added time at the end of this half. So it's been a bit stop-start, but also entertaining. Peter McCann says he's watching from Spain. Come on, the Saints. So we're getting support from all over the place. And that one played in by Connor Stewart. This is the first point for All Saints. It is. 28 minutes and 15 seconds it took. And after all that, he put it over expertly from distance, as if to say, well, what was the problem? That's what we saw him do plenty of times last year. That's what he's got in his locker. And it's now 2-1, so the scoreboard looks a bit more normal. 1-9 to 2-1, 12 plays 7. On the break, they get it to McVeigh, and he comes out strongly and just keeps possession for his team, being followed all the way by Maguire. Veteran player for All Saints, but still very dangerous. He uses him well, and he knows his strengths. And this is now James McDonald coming forward, but one back and cleared quickly. And now they have to get back quickly, All Saints. The ball is going to travel quicker than them, and indeed he puts it in quickly. And it's been won in there just about in the end by Matthew Rogers, but been followed by Matthew Downey. He's been very persistent, the two Matthews in there. In fact, he came from behind and got a good hand to it. But still, it's Fintan close for Kickhams, Creggan, and now Connor Johnson, who's looked very lively. Players all coming round, trying to get into position, but that's gone well to the left. Not like the most of their shooting in this first half, and indeed it hasn't even gone out. Conor Lemon has it. So coming up to the last 15 seconds of normal time, but we did have that big stoppage in the first minute or two for Ricky Johnston, and then he went off. There was another one after that, at least one, maybe another shorter one. So I'm thinking about 3-4 minutes still to go as Campbell comes out. I think he was down injured, but he came back with a vengeance and got a goal. Or was he involved, I think, in the Ricky Johnson situation early on? Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Oh, and they've got a chance here now. They get it to Paddy McAleer. Surely not a third goal. No. And indeed, it is a wide ball. Keeper's out quicker than the defenders have cleared the area. And of course, you know the new rules. By this point, Oisin Kerr then drills it into the middle, a low trajectory, and he was looking for obviously his teammate Jamie McCann, but it went over him, and now It's Conall Lemon again. And it's played in there by James McDonald. That's a dangerous one. He knows that there could big men in there, like Sean McVeigh and Paddy McAleer. Boys like that usually in there, but it didn't stick. Kickhams Creggan dealt with it. Now, in front of me, that's going to go over and into the fence. And it's a Ballymena ball. Bit of urgency about their play now, coming up to half-time, 2nd minute of added time at the end of the first half, and they're pumping long high balls in there and see if it'll get a reward, and they certainly have won it in there. I think it's McAleer, he's got it, he's surrounded, but they're trying to get some sort of a toe poke to it to get it in the net, and what is the referee given? He's brought it back for a free in. And they're all arguing and disputing it, but we will have a look at it again. Is there some sort of a foul when I come back out, or was it before all that? I'm not quite sure. A bit of a muddle, but in the end there's a man down in the goal area, and after all that I think we're going to have a free in, which would bring it back to a 4-point game at half time. So bit of a strange first half, but entertaining. Big crowd watching online, I see. It's great to see, and I'm sure there's lots from not just Antrim but around the country. We've had messages from America and Spain so far. Feel free to leave a message there in the live chat, or if you know my socials, you can give me a message on that. And we're looking forward to a decent second half as well. You've seen 3 goals too. Might try and put up one of them at half time. Probably the Creggan one. It was a super finish. That was the goal so far, wasn't it? Lovely finish. It was a tricky one too, because he had to sort of, it was almost like Declan Rice scoring his penalties against Real Madrid, sort of, or his free kicks. It had to start from way out. It looked like it was going wide and then curled back in. And popped over the bar, 2nd point of the game, Paddy McAleer, and he's just got a message on the YouTube chat as well. They want him back on the Antrim squad, and the way he's playing, you would think, well, why not? He's certainly a super player, and he's got his point. 2-2 plays 1-9. Let me add that up for you. That's 12-8, 4 in it, coming up to half time, and you get the feeling that all Saints are just starting to motor as we're coming up to half time. And Peter McReynolds has it. They're starting to win more ball around the middle from the kickouts. They're winning the Creggan kickouts, whereas earlier Creggan were winning all their kickouts, and obviously that makes a huge difference. But they were getting a grip on it and getting forward and picking off a few scores. So as many goals as points in the first half for All Saints Ballymena. That's a dangerous one. That's the 3rd time they've just put one in there and hoped for the best, and you know what, once or twice they seem to be getting the best as well. They have that threat in there in the air. Lemon gives it back out, and they'll come all the way back out now to Harry Connon. Sean McVeigh's come out to get it. Oh, wise play from him, and plays a lovely ball through and could end up in a point, and it does. Really cool play, and Connon gets a 3rd point, and it's 2-3 to 1-9. 3 in it, and that probably will do us for the first half. The referee looking at his watch, we've had 4 minutes added at the end of the first half, and Ballymena have done well in that period to bring it back from a 6-point game to a 3-point game. I've had issues with the kickouts. Let's see where this one goes, or if there's time. There is time. Well, no, he's got his whistle. No, he's actually just putting his whistle to his mouth but not blowing it, so we've still got another little bit of play. Jamie McCann now to Connor Small. It's gone very overcast, a bit dark here actually in Dunsilly. Don't worry, we do have floodlights here. And that is lively play, but he went a little bit too far, ran out of room and tried to offload it as quickly as he could. But Conall Lemon has it now on the counter, and Benny McDonald has it for All Saints, who scored the last 3 points. Will they make that 4 now? They get it to James McDonald, Antrim player in the not so recent past, or in the recent past actually, but there is a half-time whistle, so I'll try and put up one of those wee goals at half-time in the social media and see if we can get more people in to watch the second half. Kevin Rice is watching, and sometimes I'm a little bit sceptical about messages coming in from the likes of Vancouver, but I know Kevin's in Vancouver, so hiya Kevin, thanks for that. He's watching from the Shamrock Bar with Kieran Rice and Kieran McAteer. Get Murta McCaig between the sticks, he says, hashtag the cat. Good man Kevin. Or I was actually talking to somebody about you out there last year in Vancouver when I was out for the Canadian Championships. Good to hear from you, and good to see you're watching the game in the bar there. I'd love to get a picture actually of you all, the big screen. I hope you have it on a big screen there, watching the game all the way out in Canada there. Right, that's it. Nearly 35 minutes played in that first half. I enjoyed it, I hope you did. We're going to take a break. We'll be back for the second half. not one but two legends out in the middle of the field and another one along the side here. There's Curly on the right coming over. Curly McElwain, and he's coming over towards Burt. You can't have two legends in one place, guys. You've got to split this up a wee bit. We can't handle this legendary status. And talking about legends, we've had pictures from legends all around the world watching the game. I'm looking at a picture at the minute and it's been sent in from Lombok. I think that's probably Thailand or somewhere. It says UTS, two lads in Ballymena tops, and they are watching her on the other side of the world. And Jim Lagan sent one in as well from the Dubliner in Santa Ponsa. And I was mentioning just before we finished there that I was looking for a photograph to be sent from the Shamrock Bar in Vancouver. Actually, it's Indonesia, thanks. That's where it was. It wasn't Thailand. It was close. Lombok is in Indonesia. Kevin Rice, yeah, he would usually be playing for Kickhams Creggan, and of course he's out in the Shamrock Bar in Vancouver with Kieran Rice and Kieran McAteer. And here I was mentioning Kevin to our friend and your friend Tony McCollum. He's sitting just right beside me here, and he says, "Oh, he's out there with the brother and the sister and all out there as well." I says, "No mention of her now, buddy." So he's looking to photograph as well. So if you send your photographs from wherever you are watching around the world, we'll put them up on the Antrim socials there. It'd be good fun to see where you're all watching the games from. We always like to do that, and good to be able to provide the game for you. It's free to watch as well, wherever you are, close to here or around the world, or indeed around the country. And hopefully on a night like tonight, there's not too much else been shown of anything else Gaelic game wise around the entire country. So we hope we're getting viewers from different counties up and down Ireland who are maybe a little bit intrigued and interested about watching this Antrim final here. So just to give you the geography of it, this is the Antrim Grounds of Excellence, or whatever it's called these days, and it's in Dunsilly, which is just outside Antrim town, near, I suppose, Lough Neagh. It's not Belfast, it's out the country a bit, up towards Ballymena, not in the Glens, but out that way a bit inland, if you like, towards the loch, towards Derry. So that's where we are, and we're in pitch 1 here, the main pitch for Antrim, and it's a great setup here. They've developed it brilliantly over the years with floodlights and all here as well. And most of these grounds of excellence around the country, or centres of excellence I think they're called, as that one goes, just off the post. Very unlucky for Matthew Rogers, but they might get it on the rebound because Rory McCann was very fast to get there. Was he fouled? He wasn't. Referee says going ahead with that, and the goalkeeper Stewart eventually gets and they managed to deal with it. Sorry, here's me busy talking about people around the world, and it was nearly a goal. That's what can happen in these sort of games, I suppose. But it is All Saints Ballymena with the ball now, getting it low into their forwards, looking for Kieran Campbell. Referee again says no foul, get on with the game. Connor Small has it, the man who got that terrific goal in the first half, and I did put it up on the socials there in the first opportunity at half time, and that effort is going right left and wide. So yeah, I'm sure, as I say, there'll be lots of people interested in this game. It's a Division 1 league final between Kickhams Creggan, which is very close as opposed to here, just right on the shores of Lough Neagh, and All Saints Ballymena here in their 50th year this year, and they've lots of support, as I say, around the world. Their pictures who've been, are their players and supporters and members who've been sending in pictures from around the world. That's Emmett Killock with the distinctive headband all over his head, and that's from an injury sustained, an eye injury that required stitches last Saturday in the famous win they had over the Antrim Senior Championship winners Creggan. They beat them after extra time and penalties, 7-6 in penalties, so it was quite a game, only 5 days ago, but here they are again today. It might explain their performance a little bit. Actually, Kickhams Creggan didn't have a semi-final because St Bridget's withdrew, surprisingly enough, and that left them clear, so they haven't had a game, Kickhams Creggan, and they lead at half-time 1-9 to 2-3. Now they come forward with Rory McCann. That's a decent effort. Is it going to drift? Oh, well then, over the bar. I was going to say drift, never mind drift. That was directly over the bar. Great score from them, and it means that it's 110 now to 2-3. So 13 plays 9, a 4-point lead. First score of the second half. Really good quick kick out taken by Ryan Stewart to his brother Connor Stewart, the two big lads for All Saints Ballymena, and off goes Connor, followed by Rory McCann, but gets in on that right foot, and he's going to put it in. Is that going to drift into the left, just wide? The Stewart brothers almost got there, but Rory McCann just did enough, and a couple of his teammates as well. Lost my train of thought there. What was I telling you before that hit the post? I was telling you something. I'm trying to give this game into perspective. Look, if you have any questions, send them in on the live chat there on the YouTube. That's probably the best way of putting it. These teams, a little bit of a surprise to see All Saints Ballymena. They play a top 4 at the end of the 15 rounds of the league, and they were 4th, but as I say, Creggan were beaten by them, and then Creggan, who finished in second, they got a bye through, and they've now got another point as well. Well put over by Matthew Rogers. So 2 scores at the start of the second half. They go out to a 5-point lead. So is our scoreboard right? Just checking the one on the ground here. A few people have questioned that. So it's 111 to 2-3 on the ground and on our screen. So thanks to anyone who's questioned that. It is now married up. Now, are we going to have a change? Looks like it. Sam Maguire, number 3. No, I'm not joking. If you're just joining us, that is his name. Thought he was leaving Sean McVeigh to go over to the side, but now he's gone back to him. Oh, a couple of yellow cards. That's what we're looking at. A couple of yellow cards been shown. And it looked like Colin Thompson showed them to Brenny, McDonnell and Liam Quinn. Didn't see what went on there. Stewart looks for McVeigh, who goes for it with Maguire and just comes over to the sides, and Sean knows he got the last touch on it there, I think, but he's trying to claim it, and he is going to get it. Actually, he's getting the decision. Yep. And the referee now has got it right. Yeah, got there in the end. And the linesman says my fault. He admits to it. Yeah, just a little, and he's able to see the funny side. He's having a laugh with it, with Tony McCollum behind him here. Paddy McCauley over for Kickhams Creggan is their number 9. And now Sean Duffin. We come back to Connor Small, capable of the 2-pointers. He got one in the league game towards the end against Aldergrove. Small still on the ball, and a nice goal finisher as well, as we saw. Connor Johnson puts that very high. Has it gone right though, I think? And it has indeed gone to the right, and it's gone right. Keeper's always very quick to come out with these ones. I will be checking on the live chat in a minute if we can get a break, but nearly got caught out the last time reading about other stuff, so I'm just going to follow the game here. It's Sean Duffin turning and twisting. There's a man down for Kickhams Creggan as they work it over to that left hand side, and that's Jamie McCann. He can definitely put it over, and he does put it over. Really good score, and they stretch their lead. It has gone out again, and well worked, as we see McCann there leaving it off and then getting the return. And once he was on that left foot over there, I think that's his 3rd of the game, 1 from a free and 2 from play. And there is a man down, so they're going to have to hold on. Are they? They are indeed. We watch that kick out coming over, and the replay again, and there's the referee coming over now. Yeah, it's been strange because, well, at one point Ballymena had just scored 2 goals and no points. Then coming up to half time they were 6 down. They scored 3 in a row to get it back to 3, and now Creggan have scored the first 3 of the second half, and again All Saints Ballymena have failed to score in the early stages of the second half like the first half. So it's a 6-point lead, 112 to 2-3 now. Matthew Rogers getting a bit of treatment. Both managers are from famous Derry footballing families. Liam Baker Bradley is the manager of Ballymena, led Antrim to the Ulster final in 2009, and the manager of Kickhams Creggan is Joe Cassidy. Won Division 2 with Glenravel in 2023. Also won an Ulster Championship medal with Derry in 1998, and is from Balahi, a brother of Damien Cassidy, who's also well known in these parts. And as I mentioned, the little tidbit earlier, Liam Baker Bradley, here's one for you. 1977, St Pat's Mahara, first ever McCrory Cup win. They've won a lot, but the very first 1977, he was a fullback on that team way back then. And what a character. Oh, that one's a little bit loose, but they're going to get away with it. And it's Harry Connon who does, and he get the free, in fact, and now they can build from the back with James McDonnell. Gives it off to Peter McReynolds. Back to James McDonnell. This is better, but they're approaching the scoring zone, and that's where the Creggan players will come out to try and stop them. But Connor Stewart has a great kick in him. He leaves it off to Peter McReynolds. He goes through a few tackles. I think he has goal on his mind. He's still going, and he goes down. The shot comes in, but the advantage had been given and will be brought back. And this should be All Saints Ballymena's first score of the game, and I think it was because he didn't go for a point. It was McReynolds' head down. He was going straight for goal. He didn't get it, but he drew a free. So on the live chats, Michael Bannon says he's watching from Spain. Neil Tully says the Tullys are watching from Spain. He's all in Spain. Did you all get a deal to go out? Conor Rafferty says he's watching from Bulgaria. Is he? Are you really? As that one goes over, point for Paddy McAleer. And shout out to Tiernan watching the match in Blackpool. Now, boys, I think you're taking the mick now. And another one says he's up to Kickhams from Melbourne. You're joking me now, I think. Or he is really all on your holidays. The Dohertys are watching from Costa Brava. Come on, the Saints. Everyone on Ballymena's on holidays, it seems. Jerry Johnson, great to see the game being shown for free. Ballymena ended the half well. Still a big ask to beat Creggan, though. Yeah, well, that's the way it's turned out at the start of the second half, Jerry. The way that Creggan are playing, they have that 5-point lead now, and they seem the better team the way things are at the moment. But Ballymena are carrying that goal threat, you know, and they have a couple of players maybe that can come on and make a difference as well. So I'm not ruling them out by any means. Paul, Chloe and Sienna Nelson watching from Dublin, loving the coverage. Thanks for that. Always nice to get a nice message and people appreciating the coverage. We're up to 700 devices now. That's a huge audience, but it's always great when you get a game midweek. I'm always trying to say to GA people, put the game on Friday night or something like that. There's not much else on, not on a Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock when there's loads on. And that seems to be the effect tonight. Lots of people, and it's showcasing Antrim football, which is great, as that one goes to the left and wide. We've had some good moments in this game so far, and it's a trophy on the line. So, you know, towards the end we could get something spectacular as well. A dramatic finish as Liam Quinn goes off for Kickhams Creggan. He came on after about 2 or 3 minutes for Ricky Johnson, and now he makes way, and he's gone off for Joe McAteer, number 17. So a change. The sub is subbed, but he really was in from the start of the game. One of those ones. Good hand in by Sean O'Callaghan for All Saints there, just when it looked like Creggan might get another score. And this is James McDonnell taking advantage of the rules and going forward with it with O'Callaghan, trying to inject a little bit of urgency into the men in black and trying to get a score for them. They've only scored once in the second half so far, and we're going 11 minutes, and that was from a free. Can they get their first from play? Well, that looks like it's going more towards Sean McVeigh. He gets a hand to it, and they just about keep it in. Connor Stewart comes over to it, but under serious pressure. They do get the decision though.
Well done, Keelan.
Oh, he's not happy. The decision's gone the other way. Sam McGuire pops it inside. Paddy McCauley. Small. 42 minutes gone. 18 to go. McCauley again. 5 points in it. 15 to 10 as you can see in our scoreboard. 112 to 2-4. And Ballymena just sitting in, but you know, don't rule them out, as they say. Last week in the big game against Creggan in the semi-finals, they looked out of it. They were this far behind as well and came back. And then they were behind again a similar margin and came back again. You know, they've shown grit and resilience, and that hasn't always been labelled to Ballymena over the last few years at times, and to be fair, at times have been depleted. But Connor Stewart's coming forward now. There's something about them now. They've got to the top 4 in the last 2 years, and they'd love to win it. They'd love to win it for the first time, as the first ever time in the final. They've got a chance here because Benny McDonnell has got it, and he was the hero with the penalty against Creggan that beat Creggan, but blown for over carrying. And the referee is actually holding up that play. He wants it to go back. And I think it's because Kickhams Creggan want to bring on a sub, and indeed they do. He was over to the right and a tracksuit top on, but Joe Cassidy had called that. And he's now come to, I think it's 19, Anton Martin. Now that wouldn't be too big a surprise for Anton to be coming in. Very good player. Small. Looked very lively tonight. He's got the sub inside him if he wants to use him. Joe McAteer, but doesn't. This is Duffin. And they're been very patient trying to get it through towards Johnson, but that's well won back. And has he got it back? He has got the decision. I think it was Conan. No, it wasn't actually. It was Matthew Downey. This is definitely Emmett Killock. If he wore that headband all the time, I'd give him lots of mentions on commentary. He's very easy to spot, obviously. But Creggan have turned that over again, and this is a good period for Kickhams Creggan, and if they can transfer that to the scoreboard, they could go out of reach here. They're definitely winning most of the battles and getting free and getting lots of time on the ball as well, but that's well blocked down for the All Saints, and I think it was Joe Rafferty who got that block in, and that could turn out to be an important block. If they could just get a bit of momentum here, they could eat into that lead as they did in the first half. All Saints Ballymena looking like they're just trying to get going, but it hasn't quite come down to the home straight yet, but at the minute they're looking a bit second best, and of course 5 points down. We have another mention from Roscommon. Henry Hughes watching there, he says. Maurice McQuitty is mentioned, and I know this is real because I saw a great story on the superb Saffron Gale website about Maurice, former All Saints player from the 70s and 80s, watching from Ipswich. And I know that is absolutely true because I saw that story. And Maurice, great to hear from you. Thanks for messaging in, and have a look at that article if you can. Maurice McQuitty. And the club formed in 1975, All Saints Ballymena, and what a history they've had. We did a documentary on it a few years ago. If you can, try and get your hands on that. Fantastic story. Stepping out of the shadows was the headline that I used on it today. Connor Stewart, and he's put that over. Really nice score. Well, I said they're trying to get going, and no better man than Connor Stewart to do that. And Peter McReynolds, one of the older players and one of the younger players, combining beautifully there. Good score. So will that inject something into this game? 4 points in it now. A little bit of a pause there and a round of applause, which means there's another substitution, and indeed there is. And it's Kieran Campbell going off for All Saints there, number 15. So he has been called ashore. And who's come in for him? Number 19, he says. Good man. Good to have Liam McCollum alongside me here. Conan McKeown, I think he said it. He said something about McCann there. Maybe I got that one wrong. But anyway, let's follow the play. This is Benny McDonnell, being very lively, but being followed by Sam Maguire, and Sam gets a hand to it. Really aggressive play there, and close in, trying to make it miserable for him. But they get the ball inside here, and there's a chance here. And this is a substitute. It's 22, and it's Mitchell, who did come on in the last game. He's got a little bit of room, and as he got that inside the post, I think it's just gone to the right. Just didn't have the room there to get the leg around it, and didn't get the score. 47 minutes nearly gone. Remains a 4-point game, but All Saints really doing their best to try and get this score reduced going into the last 10. So a lot of good football being played here, and a lot of people watching online. We're now up to 750 devices, and if you add that in terms of numbers, the likes of the Vancouver Shamrock Bar, I'm sure there's a few in the bar watching it, so you're well over 1,000, say, watching the game around the world, which is great. And that one flicked on by Rory McCann, and it could fall for small, but Connor Stewart got a boot to it, but the referee gives a free. Let's watch it again. Obviously he was going to pick it up, and the boot went in. That was the issue, and All Saints are protesting, but the free has been given, and a chance for them to go out to a 4-point game just when All Saints are trying to get back into it. So thanks for all those messages, and by all means keep them coming into the last 10. And here's an idea: give me your player of the match coming into the last 10 minutes. You might want to leave it to the last 5, but feel free to give me your contender. Don't think there's anybody really outstanding as should be the player of the match. That one's gone to the right and gone wide, you know. I think, or is it inside? No, definitely was wide. Sometimes I don't get that right depending on where you are and your angle, but that one was right. 2-5, 11 plays 1, 12, 15, 4 in it, as Ryan Stewart drills it towards Peter McReynolds. Does well, but he's under pressure from Small, fouled by Small. This is O'Callaghan the captain tonight for All Saints Ballymena. He'd love to get his hands on the Eddie Fitzsimmons Memorial Trophy. Conor Lemon is there, and they get it inside to James McDonald. What's he doing up there, the fullback? But he's surrounded by green jerseys, outnumbered, and indeed it's, well, he's pointed out towards the 45. I think it's a 45, is it? Yeah, 45. And Emmett Killock comes over, looking to take it rather quickly. The goalkeeper's coming up. He fancies it. Ryan Stewart took one in the first half. Well, he's not going to take it. They've actually passed the ball to him instead. So he was looking maybe to get a point. He took one in the first half. It wasn't great. Obviously looking to do better and get an important point at this stage. But they've kept the ball moving instead. And Mitchell is there. The sub who came in a minute ago. And that is swung high. But it's going over to the left again. And Sean McVeigh unable to keep it in. And he's having a right old wrestling battle in there with Sam Maguire. And it comes to nothing. Jared McLarnon and Kathleen McLarnon watching in Westport in Mayo. Jamie McCann on the ball. Does well. Important possession at this stage. Ballymena just not able to keep any real intensity or momentum or pressure on, because Kickhams Creggan seem to do well from their kickouts and get possession and then pick off the odd score, and that might be the odd score, and a very good score, and indeed it is. And it just keeps Ballymena at bay. Really nicely taken score. Trying to see the number. I wonder, was that Micah T? No, it was McCann. Well, you can say McCann and you're probably a good chance of being right anywhere around when Creggan or Creggan are playing. But definitely a point for Creggan. 113 16 to 11, back to a 5-point game, and all to do for All Saints. Their number 12 has just gone off. That's Benny McDonald. That one won rather easily. They were waiting for it in the middle of the field and he nipped in and took it. And another score here would make it 6. Oh, nicely blocked though. Brilliant block by Harry Connon. And All Saints hanging on at the minute here, but playing really well in patches and really courageously here. They definitely have that desire there, you can tell that. They're without Cavan Keenan tonight, who got red carded against Creggan. But they would love to get their hands on this trophy for the first time ever. But Kickhams Creggan have it with Sean Duffin. They have been looking rather slick for most of the game, and an effort there coming in rather quickly. But he hurried a little bit there, Anton Martin, and didn't get his kick away properly. And it's a chance for All Saints maybe. Good block as we watch that again. So a few subs been rolled in. I haven't managed, actually, to be honest, to keep you up to date with all of them. It happened very quickly. But there's 24. That's Ronan McKillop, who's in for All Saints. He came on for extra time last week too, so that's not a huge surprise. So 24 is in, and 4 has gone off. That's Oliver O'Raw. 17 is in. That's Cal O'Brien for All Saints. So let's go back to the play and just follow it now after those changes. I'm not sure if I've got all of them, but it doesn't matter. Let's go with the game. They've given that away, or rather it's been won back quite well by Sean Duffin, to be fair. And now All Saints have got it back. Joe Rafferty has it to Killock. 5 in it, sorry. 5 in it with 8 to go. That's still plenty of time, but they need to do something rather sharpish, and they're trying to. And it looks like he's going all the way to goal, Lemon, but he's overcarried. And Kickhams Creggan are going to be able to clear that one, and they do. Somebody suggesting on the live chat we get Tony McCollum up there in the commentary. Do you know what? You can probably hear him. He's alongside me here. He's the nearest to me, and he was sitting down, but he's on his feet now. He's leaning over the fence. He's rather agitated and keen because his team are 7 minutes or so away from becoming the Division 1 league winners for 2025 in Antrim. That's the way it's looking at the minute. Not a rather obvious tug. Free for Kickhams Creggan. So they have the ball at the right end of the field, and again they managed to get out rather easily. Maybe the effects of last week are showing, because Kickhams Creggan didn't have a game because Bridget's withdrew from their semi-final, and the opposite end of that spectrum is that All Saints Ballymena went to extra time against the mighty Creggan. Ended up winning on penalties, but took a lot out of them, of course, so you can understand if they're a bit jaded. That was only 5 days ago. Jamie McCollum, or I'm getting my names mixed up, Tony McCollum beside me, and Jamie McCann. off that left foot. Bit of an ask from out there. He gives it a good dig, but it's gone to the right. No score. And that was Tony laughing, if you heard that. As usual. The ball drilled by Ryan Stewart. Oh, good jump actually. And it was by Fintan Close for Kickhams Creggan, and he got an important touch to it as well. If this goes over, a larger amount of the credit will be down to him, and it's fisted over the bar very nicely by Shea McCann. Pressure from the kick out, and Shea McCann benefited with the score. Takes it out to a 6-point game. So now it's going to take something pretty dramatic, you would imagine. Is that another change? It is another change for All Saints. They're trying to get fresh legs on. You can understand that for the last 5-10 minutes or so. And it looks like Harry Connon has gone off. He has. Another change. And another change, I think, for Kickhams Creggan too. Can't tell you what they are until they turn round. But I'll try and get you those. There's 27 is on for All Saints. That's Sean McDermott. Now this one comes down near us. All beautifully taken by Paddy McCauley. Just reached up and it just laid it down into his hands with the greatest of ease. This is Johnston, and he's overcarried. So the referee's been consistent on that, and they want to take it as quickly as they can. As I say, the new rules allow to that, and I like that rule. Just get on with it. They don't have to go back all the time, go back to the same spot, and then the transition is killed. It doesn't happen this time. Sean McDermott gets it to Cal O'Brien for All Saints. They're going to have to do something pretty quickly, as I say. Might even need a goal, never mind the points. 6 points is probably too much to ask in the time we have got, so they're going to need a goal, but a pointer will do for now. And indeed it's popped over, and there was 22 who got it, and that is Pudging Mitchell. Is it too little too late though? 5 points in it. Oisin Kerr has already got the ball out. He's not wasting time, he's looking to get on with it. Drills it high to this side, looking for the run of Sam Maguire, or not Sam Maguire, it's Liam McClernon, and boy did he take that perfectly. Been used to Maguire wearing number 5 down the ears, or is it the cousin? Maybe it's Aidan who was playing number 5, but either way it's not him, it was McClernon. Judged that perfectly and ran onto it, and that again is Kickhams Creggan just killing the All Saints Ballymena momentum again. There's 21 out there for All Saints. It's Michael McCarry. So he was one of the names I was missing who came in. And that's a free in. We're down to the last 3.5 minutes of normal time. We haven't had many stoppages in the second half, so I think time is very much running out for All Saints Ballymena. They played well in patches tonight, but we're not seeing the heroics that we had last week against Creggan. Connor Small very much taking his time walking over to take this free. Look, the referee's adding a bit on there. Audience now up to around 850 devices. That's fantastic. Absolutely superb to get that sort of exposure for the Antrim Gaelic Games, and in particular the Division 1 League Final. And that one came off the top of the post. That's an unusual one. And definitely went then inside the post. Sometimes it can hit the post right, land on top of the post and go over. But that one just touched and went over. So it's a 6-point lead again for Kickhams Creggan. Remember, Ballymena got it back to 3 for half time. Then it went out to 6 and it stayed 6. So they haven't been able to do much about that, unless we've some last minute dramatics. That was brilliant by Stewart. He knew that his teammate Cal O'Brien was there and he just palmed it down to him. But can they get a score? Lemon, he's looked very lively throughout all of the game. He doesn't look like he's been suffering effects from last week, but Stewart has it now. He throws it in there, and you can see what they were doing, just put it in around the house. But instead it went right and it went wide. But the referee's going to bring it back. He'd obviously seen an infringement there, and he's given a free in. But they really need to get it in and around the goal area and get a goal at this stage, maybe 2. Checking the messages here. Don't worry, I haven't gone away. But we are right at the end here. It's going to drop. I think that's over. Yeah, beautifully put over the bar. Right footed from way over on that corner. Nice score. And I think it was it 21, 22? It was 21. I think it was Michael McCarry who put it over. I'm not totally sure, to be honest. 5-point game though. 115 plays 2-7. It's been a decent game. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't think we're going to have extra time and penalties like last week. Would love to have been at that for the crack. Drilled in. That's a sort of ball where you know the team are thinking goal. They want to get a goal here right at the end. They get it in towards Paddy McAleer, but he is surrounded there. It's going to be difficult to get anything out of there, but he's doing his best. Oh, he's got it up, but the referee says he picked it off the ground. Free out, and they take it quickly again. Kickhams Creggan look to put it in there, and they do. Looking for Rogers, but that's good defending by the fullback, James McDonald, to get out in front. Now they're trying to build a little bit of momentum, but it's late. We're in the last minute, last 30 seconds in fact, for All Saints. This is going to be a hit and hope one from Ronan McKillop, is it? Yep, he's going to put it in there. Have they any big men in there to win it? That's well won by Lemon. Now can he could have went for a point. He goes for goal, and the shot came in the end from McDonald, but it was saved by Oisin Kerr. Quality keeper. It needed to be in the top corner, and it wasn't quite. They're going to go for a point this time and just take their point. Is that going over? It has. Well, good play towards the end here. Let's see it. Lemon to McDonald. How close was this? Oh, actually, it wasn't the goalkeeper. It was blocked by one of the defenders. Didn't get as far as the goalkeeper. But remains 115 to 2 in. In fact, it's a kick out. We are into added time at the end. And one for Ballymena by their centre halfback and captain today, Sean O'Callaghan. Connor Stewart, that's a high one, but I think he's looking for someone to get a hand on it. They don't. Instead, Oisin Kerr comes out and claims it. You see, they don't have Sean McVeigh in there. They obviously took him off. He was the sort of man in there who might have been able to get a hand in that. He would have been a real bear in the square. But instead, it's come straight out, and Kickhams Creggan clear and get up the field as well with Anton Martin. It looks like they are going to be the league champions for 2025. We're nearly into the second minute of added time. And they have deserved it, you have to say. They've scored 16 times, 15 points. And a classy goal in the first half as well. But that one's been given away, and Connor Stewart has it. And is there still a chance for Ballymena to get a goal here and then win the kicker? You never know. He's thinking goal. There's no point going for points. He leaves it off instead. They need a goal. It's very late. Oh, it's called into the net, and the deflection actually took it away from the goalkeeper, and I think it was the man with the famous name, Sam Maguire, who got the block on it. Sam Maguire to be contested in Croke Park on Sunday, but tonight he contested that ball, and yep, he got a touch on it, and it ended up taking it away from the keeper, and a late goal for All Saints Ballymena. But is it too late? 3-8 plays 115. There's only a point in it. Well, if they can win this, and then maybe we will get extra time if the referee lets this go. But they seem to win their kickouts usually. Kickhams Creggan, and they've won this one again. Have they? No, they haven't actually. On the break, that's great play by the sub who came in. That is Ronan McKillop. Got important possession, but that's great work by Connor Small, and he got a hand to it. That's brilliant from Connor Small. Just as important, really, when you think about it, as his goal in the first half to win that turnover. That was a superb turnover. Not only to get the challenge in, to get the hand in as well to get it away, and that's why they now have the ball, and that could be the winning of the game, really. Because the referee's looking at his watch, and I don't think there's time here. But it just stopped Ballymena from getting up the pitch, and they just needed a point. I think we would have needed the floodlights on if it's gone to extra time. And Kickhams Creggan might finish the whole job now because they've got it through. They don't need a goal, but a point here will kill it completely. Or they might as well go for a goal when they're there. It's Connor Johnson. He's got the point, and that should be that. I think it's Kickhams Creggan now. The credit goes to Connor Small for the interception about 30 seconds before that, and then the finish. And it was laid off. It was a 2 corner forward, Shea McCann, I think, and CJ, and that should just be about that. Kickhams Creggan 2025 Antrim Division 1 League Champions. 116 plays 3-8, but the referee still lets it go. Well, now you're in the situation, the scenario where it has to be a goal. A point no good to All Saints Ballymena. We won't have extra time if they get a goal. They'll win it. Will they win it? Mitchell tries to get through. He's been held up, and he's been held up by McLarnon. So they're forced to go back to Michael McCarry. Now Sean McDermott, all the boys in the 20s numbers on their backs, but they're going to have to get the ball in there quick. They have men over to this side. James McDonald wants it, and he's going to put it, well, he's put it really high as if he's looking to score a point, and it's not accurate. It's not towards the goal. They kept it in though, and it needs a strong hand. Oh, it's gone wide. The ball has gone wide. The ball is out of play. Well, We have had a dramatic finish, but I think that might be it now. I've said that before and it's still gone on. But this could be the last kick of the game, but it's certainly been a really exciting finish. Could have been even more exciting, but that goal came a little bit late. And then Kickhams Creggan, they've always just had an answer, and they did have an answer. And there is a final whistle. The 2025 Antrim Division 1 League Champions are Kickhams Creggan. They have won by 116 to 3-8. Really good game. It's been brilliant to bring you the live stream. We hope you've enjoyed it. We know we've had evidence of a lot of people watching around the world, and as I say, it's been great to showcase the skills of these lads and this particular game. And they will meet again in 10 days time in the Senior Championship at Ballymena in what they call the Group of Death. Laviorigan and St Galls are in there, so that's a really important game in 10 days time between these two. So they will do it again. The likes of Conor McCann will be back for Kickhams Creggan, and Cavan Keenan back for All Saints Ballymena. Lots of comments coming in right at the end. Morris McQuitty in Ipswich, originally Ballymena. Good match, he says. Sadly not this year for All Saints. Thanks for the coverage, was great to watch it. Best team won. Thanks for those comments, Morris. And indeed, let's look on it from a historical perspective, and to put it into perspective, All Saints Ballymena in the final for the very, very first time. And so obviously looking to win it for the first time, and they put up a good show and looked at the end that they might get something, but maybe going the extra time against Creggan last weekend, just 5 days ago, took its toll. They just couldn't quite get there. And credits to the winners, Kickhams Creggan, because they just had too much overall and scored a lot of points in the first half. And really, you have to say, as Morris says, are deserved winners, as Henry Hughes says as well, and Terry Maguire and Ronan Hamill. Thank you for your comment. And Morris says, no, you will take the Senior Championship instead. And Cian Graffin says, good man, Morris. Conor Rafferty, former All Saints minor captain here, watching from Ballymena. Need more of this coverage. Well, glad you said that. We're going to try and give as much as we can in the coming months to all of the teams in the Antrim Championships. We're looking forward to it. This is just the start, really, of the club season. Of course, we're not finished with the All-Ireland yet, but we are already looking forward to the club scene. Another comment, well done the Lockshore men from Boston. Thanks for that. Big audience on tonight watching the game. I'm talking away with those messages and holding on because we want to stay on for the presentation of the cup. And Sam Maguire over to the left there. Well, I'm tempted to make another cup pun there. He was throwing a young person up in the sky there as if it was the Sam Maguire Cup. And he is certainly going to get a medal for this achievement here. Kickhams Creggan winning the league. They finished in the league in second place, 15 games, 24 points behind Creggan, but the top four, they got through to the final because their opponent St Bridget's surprisingly withdrew from the competition, so they got straight through. And All Saints Ballymena had to beat Creggan. All Saints finished in fourth, but beat Creggan in a penalty shootout, and that's why we ended up with these here two tonight. So Creggan played 15 games, 24 points. So what does that mean? They lost. They dropped 6 points, so maybe 3 defeats. But it's a bit of a marathon. They start in March, and here we are now towards the end of July, seeing the league trophy out in front there and about to be presented. And it's in front of the two legendary photographers, Curly Michael Wayne and Bert Trollan, who are just waiting for the players to come over. Terry Riley will make the presentation. That's he in the middle there. So he will be making the presentation down in front of us. In fact, I might jump on with the microphone and try and catch what he's saying here. So yeah, Terry's coming over and Ballymena's coming over. So I'm going to stop talking and run on and try and do that for you, so you'll be able to pick up what is being said. Terry, I can pick up what you're saying. We're on live now and we can pick up what you're saying, so you talk away and I'll hold the microphone for you.
All right, folks. Firstly, a massive congratulations to both teams on behalf of the county for the Division 1 Eddie Fitzsimmons Trophy. Eddie Fitzsimmons was a man from Lav Yarg who refereed within our county and represented his club very well. And I think it's fitting that the trophy should be named after a very honourable man from the Lav Yarg club. And on that note of officials, I'd like to thank Collie, Paul, Paddy and their umpires for doing a brilliant job here this evening. It's great that we can host the games here at our centre of participation in Dunsilly. It's fantastic. John Shannon and co have it looking really, really well. Tonight's game, a very, very good game, a very dogged Ballymena team who put on a very good performance, never say die. But there can only be one winner, and Kickhams Creggan, who have represented many, many representatives for the county team over the years, and one of them just got injured and off there. And in his absence, I'd like to call on Connor Carey Small, is that right? Ethan Carey Small. Ethan Carey Small to receive the trophy.
It's a big trophy. Curly gets his photograph, and I think he's going to say a few words. Ethan Carey, caught by surprise, obviously. I'll hold it for you, Ethan. You chat away.
I just firstly like to thank the officials for the day and throughout the year for running the games. I'd like to thank Ballymena for a tough game, and I look forward to next Friday night again. And for the panel, the management, it's been a long 7 months, so I'm glad to pick up the silverware and inspire the young children that are here today. Thank you.
That's Ethan Carey Small. He had to step in to lift the trophy in the absence of Ricky Johnson, who got injured very early in the game. Sadly, he was the captain tonight, but he got injured very early on, so disappointing for him. But Ethan stepped in there, and it's a bit ironic, his name's Small, Carey Small, and he lifted one of the biggest trophies that I've ever seen. But Kickhams Creggan, the champions in, and nice words from Ethan for the losers as well. A nice comment though about the young people, and you see them now in the photograph. They're all getting down with the cup at the front. Some of them are nearly the size of the photograph, and they're getting in there to get their photograph taken. They all wanted to get in and around the cup in a real family atmosphere now, as you can see, as they get in, and all the flags come in as well, and the whole community getting in, and it's lovely to see. And I'm sure the likes of Kevin Rice out in Vancouver and other family members out there and around the world are delighted to watch these pictures, and they're all getting around me with their phones as well to try and get the pictures. They're all creeping in behind Curly here to get the shot. We're just staying on for a minute to get this because they're lovely scenes, and they show what the GAA really is all about. And there's no better example than Kickhams Creggan. We've been down there for many years at their Ulster Under 21 tournament that they ran, and they loved having that tournament and bringing clubs together from all over Ulster, and they've created a fabulous atmosphere. Look at the faces in these young people here, and I see Sam Maguire over on the left there, and he's got lots of young girls around him, young boys around him, and they're waiting to get their picture taken, and I'm sure we get a big cheer out of them as well. And that's a lovely picture, and elderly gentleman over to my right as well. They're all delighted, and they've all got silverware, and I said at the start, you always want silverware. Never mind questions about commitment and league finals. They were here, and all the kids now lifting the cup and getting in and around that. They're excited by that, and who knows, they mentioned the senior championship 10 days away. Next Friday the same teams meet again, and we're looking forward to that senior championship and the senior hurling championship, so we'll have that for you next week. And maybe get a quick word here with CJ. Can I get a quick word with you? We're just finishing off the live stream. We're still on the camera here. Are you happy to win that?
Oh, it's been good 7 months, and thank God, it's just unbelievable to win that league. And yeah, just so proud of the team.
You can see what it meant to all the kids there. Some of them were the size of the cup.
Yeah, definitely, yep.
And Ricky Johnson, obviously, how is he? I mean, he got a bad knock in the first couple of minutes.
I haven't really seen it, but it's a big miss, so hopefully he's okay for championship next week. So
Here, what a goal by Connor Small. The throwing dummies all over the place, but the finish.
Aye, it was class, top ends, can't stop it, like, no keeper stopping that.
I think they're looking for you for a photograph here. Is Colin McLaren in here, but we'll let him go over and get that taken. All right, Colin, we'll let you go, no bother. And congratulations then to Kickhams Creggan. Thank you for tuning in and for your kind comments tonight. The young kids have still got the cup, they're not letting it go. So we'll be back for the senior championships and the hurling and the football and the intermediate, I hope, as well, and even a bit of junior in a couple of months. But hopefully we have whetted the appetite for the club season in Antrim over the next few months. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage tonight from Dunsilly. So from the whole team, it's goodbye.